Hello, I'm Stacy, and join me as I read the summaries of the books of the Bible. We are in Second Kings, so I'm just going to jump into it. Second Kings continues the drama begun in First Kings, the tragic history of two erring nations on a collision course with captivity. The author systematically traces the reigning monarchs of Israel and Judah, first by carrying forward one nation's history, then retracing the same period for the other nation. 19 consecutive evil kings rule in Israel, leading to the Assyrian captivity. The picture shines a little brighter in Judah, where godly kings occasionally emerge to reform the evils of their predecessors. In the end, however, sin outweighs righteousness, and Judah is marched off to Babylon. As much as anything, however, Second Kings records the ministry of the prophet Elisha, the successor to Elijah, both of whom ministered in very dark times. While Elijah used mostly words in his prophetic ministry, Elisha underscored his message with frequent miracles. Elisha began his ministry by asking God for a double portion of his spirit. That was chapter 2, verse 9. Then went on to part the waters of the Jordan River, chapter 2, verse 14. Raise a child from the dead, chapter 4, verses 18 through 37. Purify deadly food, chapter 4, verses 38 through 41. Feed a multitude of people, chapter 4, verses 42 through 44. Heal a leper, chapter 5, verses 5 through 15. Pronounce leprosy on another man, chapter 5, verse 20 through 27. And pronounce blindness on the Syrians, whose king had planned to kill him, chapter 6, verse 1 through 20. Among other miracles. In addition to the miracles, Elisha authorized the anointing of Jehu as king of Israel. Verse 9, chapter 1 through 6. Themes. A people will eventually reap what they sow. After centuries of apostasy, which is falling away from God, after centuries of apostasy and rebellion, the people who once comprised the nation of Israel were taken into captivity and removed from the promised land. On the positive side, 2 Kings demonstrates what one man can accomplish if he is willing to ask for a double portion of his spirit and obey him. Thank you so much for joining me as I read the summaries of the books of the Bible. And we are reading from Charles F. Stanley, Life Principles Bible. Excellent Bible. I'm doing this because have you ever read the Bible and wondered what is in each book? I've read a few Bibles. I'm actually on like my 5th time reading a Bible, and I read different Bibles every time. And this Bible is excellent because it gives you a summary prior to getting into the book. So it gives you a hint of what you're about to get into. And that's a blessing because sometimes you don't know what you're about to get into. And sometimes it's difficult to read the Bible just because you don't know what you're reading. And it seems like, what does this mean? You know, it's hard to really understand the point, especially when you're taking something from history and trying to, make it make sense today. So this is beneficial. Like I said, Charles F. Stanley, Life Principles Bible. Thank you for joining me. Second book of Kings. And until next time, thank y'all.